It's very possible that what Jussie Smollett is doing is trying to set up his next hoax hate crime attack. Where? Yes, in prison. And we're back, Shakers. As you all know, Jussie Smollett was recently convicted of staging his own hate crime attack. This was on January 29th, 2019. We've done several videos on this channel and some of my other channels on Jussie Smollett, and it's believed that he staged this hate crime attack on himself to gain publicity, fame.
I fought the back.
I'm the gay Tupac.
And also to increase his salary pay because he was, at the time, a star on the TV show Empire. Jussie Smollett's sentence was finally handed down by the judge, sending him away to jail. Jussie responded very animatedly with an outburst in court. But what did that outburst actually say about Jussie Smollett and what Jussie Smollett may actually be up to? We're gonna be breaking down Jussie's behavior and body language to reveal what he may actually be up to now. So now, let's get started.
I'm sentencing you to 30 months felony probation, and the probation is going to be to this court. You're going to be allowed to travel wherever you want. You do not have to live in the state of Illinois. You can report by phone. I know that if you're going to try to make a living and do some of the things you do, you may have to go to other places, New York and Los Angeles. You can do those things.
The first thing that we notice is that Jussie's acting very restrained. He has his hands folded, just staring at the judge, without much reaction. Interesting that we're seeing him very restrained right now, considering later we will see him with a massive outburst. What this tells us is that Jussie is likely boiling inside with anger and just wants to yell in court, but he's trying to restrain himself. Because we know what's going to happen, we have an idea of why he's acting like this now.
You will pay restitution to the city of Chicago in the amount of $120,106. You are fined $25,000, which is the maximum fine. And you will spend the first 150 days of your sentence in the Cook County Jail. And that will start today, right here, right now. Mr. Smollett, though the jury found you guilty and I've sentenced you as I have, you have the right to appeal the findings and rulings of the court or ask your sentence to be modified. To do those things, you need to file a notice of appeal in writing within 30 days. You may also file a motion to modify your sentence, which would have to be filed in writing within 30 days. Anything not stated in those filings are waived for purposes of appeal. You cannot afford lawyers or transcripts. They would be provided for your charge. Do you have any questions?
Okay, so Jussie has asked if he has any questions. Okay, these are questions. These aren't statements that the judge is looking for. But notice what Jussie does right here.
No, I would just like to say to Your Honor that I am not suicidal.
Okay, so instead of asking a question, Jussie makes the statement that he's not suicidal. Of course, Jussie's not suicidal. He's too much of a narcissist to be suicidal.
You do such a disservice when you lie about things like this.
But why is he saying that he's not suicidal? There's a few layers to this, and we're gonna be getting more into this because he starts saying it more and more, over and over and over. Now listen to what the judge says.
That's what I would like to say.
Okay.
The judge says, okay, we heard you. Now, listen to what he says again.
I'm not suicidal.
Okay.
The judge doesn't respond to a very coddling type attitude towards Jussie, so notice what Jussie does here.
I am not suicidal.
His attorney's pulling on his jacket, saying, shut up, it's not good, shut up.
I am innocent, and I am not suicidal.
Jussie is clearly up to something right here. At first glance, it appears that Jussie is just really concerned about his safety in jail, that maybe someone in jail may try to harm him. But that's not really what it is. That's the first glance of what it may seem. However, given the fact that he keeps saying, I am not suicidal over and over, and you'll see that he continues, and we'll talk about that in a bit, given the fact that he keeps saying it, and every time he said it, the judge just said, okay, not very amused by it, not very reacting towards it, not responding towards that claim of Jussie's. It seems that Jussie's trying to convey to the judge that he's at risk of being harmed in jail. He's at risk, so maybe you shouldn't really send the poor guy to jail because something really bad can happen to him in jail. That someone's gonna do something to him in jail. He's trying to convey that to the judge. And what it seems that he's thereby trying to do is trying to sway the decision of the judge. And we see that every time he says it, and the judge doesn't respond in the way that he wants, he goes back and says it again. The judge doesn't respond the way he wants. The judge just says, okay.
I am not suicidal. That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
I'm not suicidal.
Okay.
Now notice what Jussie Smollett says here and how he seemed to have slipped, also implying some guilt. Watch.
If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community.
Jussie says, if I did this.
If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist.
Someone who's innocent would never talk about it as if I did this, as a possibility that he did this. Someone who's truly innocent would talk about that very far removed. It would be, if someone were to do this, if someone did this, it would be sticking their fist in the face of whatever he's saying here. But by saying, if I did this, is showing his comfortability with connecting himself to the crime.
If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community.
When someone's truly innocent, they cannot fathom themselves being part of the crime. They cannot fathom themselves being connected to something that has caused such heartache, such trauma of having to go through the court system and being accused by the media of doing something that the person believes that they were innocent of. So you would not hear that innocent person connecting themselves so perfectly to the terrible things that he's talking about.
If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist.
We live in a very litigious society where we focus on the exact legal meaning of words that people say, as opposed to what they could actually be implying with the choice words that they choose to use, along with their tonality and body language, of course, as well, but even just the choice words. Why are they choosing these words? Doesn't matter what legally it means and, how they're claiming that they're not guilty, as Jussie is here, but why is he choosing these words? Now, as we continue watching, see if you think Jussie Smollett's monologue is rehearsed.
If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community.
That's right, Jussie Smollett's little monologue here was likely rehearsed, because first, we see him start looking into the camera right when he starts giving his monologue. He also knows without hesitation, 400 years it's been since the first Africans that were brought to America as slaves in 1619. Yeah, it's 400 years. He knew that right away without any hesitation at all.
This country for over 400 years.
Typically with math, we're not going to have the number right off the tip of our tongue to be able to say so quickly like he was able to do right here. Also notice the modulation in his voice and his tonality during that monologue. Yeah, that was all likely rehearsed, and he was looking for the opportunity to say that when he had the opportunity in court.
Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this.
Okay, body language of doing the prayer gesture. Notice what he's doing. He's pleading. He's pleading with the judge. Please, please, I don't want to go to prison. I can't do it without my Gucci. Jussie seems to be giving a congruent, emphatic gesture of, I did not do this.
But I did not do this.
But if it's all part of a rehearsed monologue, knowing to shake your head instead of nod your head is pretty easy to do. Now notice what Jussie says here again.
And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that.
First, what Jussie's trying to do with the judge is get him to maybe reconsider his decision that, oh, Jussie's a celebrity. Oh, he's really high profile. Maybe something bad's going to happen to him in jail. Because it seems that Jussie really doesn't want to go to jail because he's pleading to the judge, please, please, I don't want to go to jail, please. He doesn't want to go to jail. He really doesn't want to go without his Gucci. That's his first line of defense, trying to get the judge to reverse his decision. But his second line is something else. He's up to something. He's trying to tell people something. He's trying to put a narrative out there that something is gonna happen maybe because he's saying it so much. And it seems to be a lot more than just to try to convince the judge and plead, oh, please, judge, oh, don't send me to jail. It seems to be a lot more than that. Let's keep watching.
I respect you, Your Honor. I respect your decision. Jail time.
Did you notice Jussie's body language right there?
Jail time.
Sucks in his lips, holds his breath, and gives an apprehensive gesture of, similar to what? As if you're gonna hold your breath when you take the plunge jumping off the Titanic, right? Oh, is something I'm apprehensive to do, right? That's what he's doing. And then as Jussie's sucking in his lips, holding in his breath, he slaps his hands and gives a push away gesture because that's not something he wants. What Jussie's trying to make it seem, though, Jussie's just really concerned about his safety because Jussie's at least a C-list celebrity.
I am not suicidal.
Okay. Let me say, I've obviously considered the sentence at great length, and it's timely filed, so it's preserved for purposes of appeal. Motion to reconsider sentence is respectfully denied.
If it can be stayed in light of our rules of appeal.
No, I'm not staying. No. The wheels of justice turn slowly, and sometimes the hammer of justice has to fall, and it's falling right here, right now. I'm not staying this. This happens right here, right now. All right, defendants remanded to the custody of the sheriff. Court is adjourned.
Now, as Jussie walks out, notice what he says.
I am not suicidal.
Stop laughing at our black.
I am not suicidal.
Jussie yells it twice again with his fist in the air to, one, get attention by yelling it and showing his fist, and then also the fist is to show some strength, that I'm strong, I'm not suicidal, so anything that happens to me would be something that someone else did to me because I am a Hollywood C-list celebrity. At this point, the court is adjourned. The judge already said, yeah, okay, right? What is the point of actually saying it again? Why would he say it now as he's walking out?
I am not suicidal.
Stop laughing at our black.
I am not suicidal.
What do you think Jussie Smollett is up to? When someone says something over and over and over, trying to convince you of it and really get that in your head and not just say it once and just, oh, I heard you, okay, I just want to make sure it's out there. When someone says it over and over and they're being led away and they're saying, and the court is adjourned, and they're saying it over and over and over and over, they are convincing and not just conveying. They don't want you to just know it. They want you to be convinced of it. He's being led away when the court is adjourned. What could he possibly be trying to convince you, the media, the viewers, of? What could he possibly be trying to convince anyone of? It's very possible that what Jussie Smollett is doing is trying to set up his next hoax hate crime attack. Where? Yes, in prison. He could maybe inflict some harm, maybe put a fake noose around his neck again in prison.
You want to take it off or anything?
Remember, this is the same guy that set up his hoax hate crime attack to get attention. Why wouldn't he do it to get more attention and also to prove to everybody that he is a victim, that he's actually a victim? Look, I'm actually a victim. I got hurt in prison. Like I said, I'm actually a victim here.
Why me? Why me?
It's very, very possible. Obviously, we don't know anything for 100% certainty. But here, it does seem like he's trying to convince you by saying it over and over and over, even after the court is adjourned and the judge made his decision.
Defendants remanded to the custody of the sheriff. Court is adjourned.
He is still saying it because he's trying to convince you of something. You always need to ask ourselves in behavioral sciences, why is the subject acting that way? What's in it for him? Why is he trying to convince and not just convey? Well, he's really afraid that someone's gonna really spend their time and their risk of themselves in jail. This is not prison, keep in mind. This is just like county jail. It's not federal prison. And Jussie Smollett is not guilty of harming children. There's nothing like that. People sitting around in a county jail are not gonna risk spending a lifetime in prison over Jussie Smollett and his hoax hate crime attack.
And I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago.
I understand how difficult it will be to find them, but we gotta.
Now in the comments, what do you think is gonna happen to Jussie Smollett in prison? Let everyone know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe because we don't want you to miss out on new body language and investigative videos. See you at the top.